Good evening, students, and today I am going to deal with the topic of respiratory distress. Okay, so respiratory distress and the types and assessment and management. Okay, so students, and this topic is not that much clear to see, and I'll send you the soft copy afterwards, and just adjust with this copy. Okay, so what do you mean by respiration? Okay, so respiration is nothing else but it is an act of breathing. It includes intake of oxygen and output of carbon dioxide. Already you knows that. So what do you mean by respiration? So intaking of the oxygen and we are exhaling out of the carbon dioxide is called as a respiration. So these respiration is mainly concentrated on the inspiration and expiration. So inspiration means taking of oxygen, expiration means what, and removing out of carbon dioxide is called as a respiration. And there are some other types of respiration. Okay, so types of respiration, it is divided into three types: external respiration, internal respiration, and the regulation of respirations. Okay, so here external respiration is nothing else but, see here, so the exchange of gases between the blood and the air in the lungs. Okay, so where the expiration of respiration is taking place here means, and mostly in the blood as well as in the air of the lungs. Okay, air in the lungs is also called as alveoli. Okay, so in the alveoli, so from the alveoli the exchange of the blood to the alveoli. Okay, so in that way, so the air is going to be, the respiration rate is going to be exchanges. That is called as what? External respiration. Okay, so what do you mean by internal respiration? So internal respirations here means the exchange of gases between blood and the tissue cells. Okay, here not the alveoli, not the lungs is involving. So what is involving here? So our tissue cells is involving to exchange the gases between, so from the inspiration process. Okay, and here the third one is a regulation of respiration. So here the main important regulation of the respiration is nothing else but, see, our central nervous system is going to be control our respiration. So what is the central nervous system and which is controlling our respiration is the medulla oblongata. Okay, so this is only is going to be act as our respiratory center of the brain, and it will give you the momentum of respiration and expiration and inspiration pattern. So that is also one type of the respirations. Okay, so clear. So external respiration means, and the gaseous change will be takes place in the alveoli and the blood, and internal respiration means our tissue cells and the blood. Okay, and regulation of respiration means what, it is going to be controlled by our medulla oblongata and by our central system nerve. Okay, and what are the normal rates of the, okay, so what is the normal rates of the respiration? See here at birth, what is our respiration? 30 to 40 breaths per minute. Okay, and for 1 year 26 to 30 breaths per minute, and 2 to 5 years of age, and 20 to 26 breaths per minute, and for adolescents 20 to 20 breaths. Okay, adults 16 to 20 are normal, and old age group 10 to 24 breaths per minute. So these are the normal breath rates of the individuals according to the age category. Okay, and next, what are the factors influencing of a respiration? So here, what are the factors will influence the respiration means, so first one is the sex factors. Okay, here they are saying that female has slight rapid respiration than the male. Okay, so coming to the strategies and coming to the statistical researchers, and they are saying that the female will be having a more respiration. And exercises. Okay, so what are the factors of exercising means, if you have increased doing of exercise, automatically you knows that the metabolic rate will be increases. So already in the inspiration process you have seen that, yes, the blood will be exchanging from the tissue cells. Okay, so if you are doing exercises and your energy is going to be metabolized from the tissue cells only, so automatically what will be happening? So the more excretion of the oxygen need when you do the exercises. So that is also one of the factor. And the rest of the rest and sleep. So during the rest and the sleep, so here increased metabolic rate is there. Here what? Decreased metabolic rate. So due to that, what will be happening? The exhaling of carbon dioxide is not going to be there. Okay, so in the exercise process, what is happening? Increased metabolic rate is there, but in the during a rest process, and there will be metabolic rate will be decreases. So automatically the expiration process, the carbon dioxide is not going to be excreted from the body. Okay, and next one is emotions. Okay, so whenever you are stressful or situations, so that is also will be influencing your respiration rate. Okay, and the changes in the atmospheric pressure. So atmospheric pressure nothing else but according to your external environment. For example, now, so in India, how is the climatic changes, right? Summer, winter seasons. Okay, so these changes also is going to be include your respirator pattern. Okay, so that is regarding of the factors affecting. Okay, and next we'll go see the yes, what are the characteristics. Okay, yes, what are the characteristics of the respiration? So respiration will have which type of characteristics? So you may see that normal breathing is a effortless. Okay, so effortless nothing else but, so whenever you have a normal breathing, so you will not concentrate on the breathing, right? So normally you will exhale and normally you will inhale. So if you have a breathing difficulty means what you will be having, you will be suffocate to breathe. Okay, so that is only saying that the characteristic of a breathing is effortless, and it is painless, quiet, and automatic. So whether when, for example, now you are doing a respiration, right? So whether you are doing respiration and whether you are feeling a painful, no. So it is also a quiet inhaling and exhaling process, automatically it was taking, and you are not able to control the respiration. And normal respiration consisting of a rhythmic rising and falling the chest wall. So what is going to be there here? And whenever you inhale and exhale your respiration, so what is happening? And rising your chest level and you are so decreasing your chest level. So by that only we are going to count the normal respiratory pattern. So already I have given what are the normal values according to the age group. Here they included the adult age group. Okay, and next one, so next one is a, okay, so this is a dyspnea. Okay, so here dyspnea, it is a irregular and even produce no noise. Okay, so what is going to be there here? Apnea, sorry, it is an apnea. So apnea means nothing else but, so it is a regular even produce no noise to your respiration. Okay, so that is a normal characteristics we are going to see in the respiration. So we can see some of the abnormal respirations. Okay, so you see what are the abnormality respiration. So first one is what? Apnea. Okay, so apnea means a respiration ceases for several seconds, that is called as apnea. For example, now, so your respiratory rate will be so subsided. For example, now you are in a suffocated room, yes, so automatically you feel somewhat suffocation, so that kind of suffocation is called as apnea. Next one is a dyspnea. So dyspnea means what? Difficulty breathing. Okay, so what do you mean by dyspnea? Difficulty breathing is called as a dyspnea. And bradyapnea means what? So what is your normal rate? Here adult rate is 16 to 18 breaths, right? So what is going to be there? Your rate of birth is less than 10 minutes. So what is going to be there here? 16 to 18 breaths is, so like 2 minutes less. So breath is going to be there is called as bradyapnea. Tachyapnea means what? More than 20 minutes of regular respiration is called as a tachyapnea. Okay, hyperapnea means more hyperventilation, and your depth and rate of inspiration and expiration process will be continuous and fast. Okay, and next one is what? Orthoapnea. Okay, so orthoapnea nothing else but, see, so respiration condition in which a person must sit or stand to breathe. Okay, so that is comfortably. So what he is saying that, so when he can able to sit for some time, he can breathe. Okay, so while walking or doing some work, he will be suffocating a lot. Okay, so that kind of a breathing is called as a orthoapnea. Okay, next one is what? Gynae. Okay, it is also called as a stroke respiration. So what is going to be there here means where the respiration rate will be, rhythm will be abnormal. So for example, you see that hyperventilation will be there some period of time, and some period of time some seconds. Apnea means what? Some several seconds only this respiration rate is going to be increases. So that kind of respiration is called as a gynae or stroke respiration. Okay, and next one is a, so Kushnal's respiration. Okay, so Kushnal's respiration nothing else but respiration is abnormal, deep but regular. So what they are saying that, see here Kushmal's respiration nothing else but here, see, inspiration will be deep. Okay, inspiration will be good, taking of oxygen will be good, but removing out of oxygen is difficult. Okay, that is called as, so Kushmal's respiration. Okay, so inhaling of oxygen will be good, but exhaling of carbon dioxide will be takes abnormal process. Okay, and next one is a Biot's respiration. Okay, so your Biot's respiration nothing else but yes, and due to it is mainly due to the central nervous system disorder. So already in the introduction I have shown you that medulla oblongata is going to be control our respiratory pattern. So if your central nervous system is having a disorder and your breathing pattern will be interrupted by medulla oblongata, that of disorder is called as a Biot's respiration. Okay, next one is a sighing. Okay, sighing nothing else but it expands the small airways. It is protective mechanism. So what they are saying that okay, signing nothing else but so your alveoli. So okay, so your alveoli of walls so will have a difficulty in a inspiration and expiration process, that is called as a signing. Okay, next one is a noisy respiration. So noisy respiration means what? Okay, for example, now whenever you are in a sleeping process, if you're having a difficulty in a breathing, so you will be a stertorous grunting and expression is force stridor. See, you will be making a noise in a sleeping, right? Yes, so that kind of noises, and whenever you are doing such certain works, and you will be always some wheezing sounds you are going to get. So that kind of a process is called as a noisy respiration. And next one is a hiccups. Okay, hiccups now already you knows that. So continuous hiccups, for example, so whenever we are after eating, so we casually we'll get some hiccups. So that is not the respiration disorder. Okay, so what is a normal hiccups here means, and continuously the day period itself, continuously for 2 to 3 days continuously the patient, the person is having a hiccup. So you see that the diaphragm, okay, the respiratory diaphragm or the glottis area, so where if there is a spasm, so automatically it may lead to the hiccups. Okay, so that is regarding of abnormalities of the process. Okay, so next we will give further, so we will see the, so one abnormality we'll see. Okay, so that is called as a care of patient with dyspnea. Okay, already have seen that dyspnea is nothing else but what? Difficulty breathing. So difficulty breathing means what? And you are the person can't able to inhale the oxygen from the external environment. So automatically when you don't have the external oxygen, so automatically your alveoli is going to crave for the process, and lack of oxygen, hypoxia, lack of oxygen in your lungs. Okay, so that may leads to the dyspnea. Okay, so that is a meaning of this dyspnea. And what are the causes of this dyspnea? So first one, they are saying that obstruction in the air passages. So already I have shown you is the hiccups, the diaphragm spasms. Okay, like for example, like any mucus, vomiting, blood. Okay, so or anything passage in obstruction foreign bodies is going to be obstructed in your passage of your throat. So automatically what will happen? The inhaling and exhaling process will not be taken place. Okay, and pressure from outside. So pressure from outside means what? If you have in a chest or the neck or abdomen, distinction is a distinction means what? So any enlargement, growth is there, so automatically it will stops. Okay, and next third one is a respiratory diseases like asthma, pneumonia, tuberculosis. So these kind of respiratory diseases there means it may lead to difficulty breathing. And heart failure, anemia, because heart failure means lack of oxygen, blood circulation of blood only. So if there are tissue, if the blood and the tissue is there only, so the passage of blood is going to be there in the types we have discussed, right? So that is also one of the problem. Okay, that is a causes of dyspnea of causes. Okay, and next we'll go for the okay types. Okay, so what are the types of apnea here means dyspnea, exertion, and orthopnea. Okay, so dyspnea, exertion nothing else but so difficulty of oxygen transmission from your alveoli to outside of the body. Okay, to release the carbon dioxide, that is also one of the difficulty. And orthopnea, so orthopnea already we had discussed the definition, what is that? And even in the, if the person is in the standing or frequent sitting position only, he can take the breath. So otherwise while during a work, walking, and he can't able to take the breath normally. Okay, so what is the clinical manifestations of the dyspnea? So you may see that exaggerated respiratory effort, exaggerated nothing else but you will be having a difficulty in taking of breath. Okay, so means you will be struggle to take the breathing, so that is called as exaggerated respiratory breath. Okay, and use of accessory muscle of respiration. So what you are saying, that accessory muscles, nothing yours, the chest muscles has to be coordinate, and whenever you are taking a muscles, because deeply you have to take a breath and you have to take the control of muscles. Okay, and next one is a nasal flaring. So nasal flaring, nothing else but, so always, and if you are not taking a breathing, and through nose, and some sound you can hear when you are having a difficulty breathing. Okay, and the fourth one is marked increase in the rate and depth of respiration. So what they are saying, that increase in rate and depth of respiration. So to inhale and exhale, how much time, normal time you are taking, so more time you are going to take while taking of the inspiration and expiration. And cough is normally will be there if any obstructions is there, and wheezing sounds you are going to see. Okay, so that is regarding of the clinical manifestations of dyspnea. Okay, so next we'll go for the pathophysiology. Okay, so here they have given of some blanch like pathophysiology they have given, and in simple way I'll teach you and how we are going to explain the pathophysiology. Okay, so here you are seeing that, okay, so here pathophysiology. So pathophysiology of dyspnea, respiration means nothing else but during expiration process and inspiration process. Okay, so here during expiration process what is happening, so here, so absence of surfactant. Okay, here surfactant nothing else but the inspiration and expiration of oxygen from the alveoli process is called as a surfactant. Okay, so the surface tension will be increases and alveoli will be collapse. Understand? So whenever what is going to be there, and due to some of the etiological factors, there is absence of surfactant and surface tension will increases and alveoli is going to be collapse. And during inspiration what is going to be there, adequate oxygen. See here in the expiration process, and we have to exhale out the carbon dioxide here. Yes, from the alveoli only the carbon dioxide is going to be releases, right? So what is going to be there here means whatever the surfactant that is released by the alveoli, the carbon dioxide, so that is going to be absent. In order to send, automatically the alveoli will be collapsed. And in inspiration process what is happening, an inadequate oxygen. For example, now if there is no oxygen taking continuously, so inadequate oxygen and increased work of breathing is going to be there, so you are suffocating to breathe. Okay, so due to that what is going to be there here, hypoxemia and the acidosis. So hypoxemia is nothing else but lack of oxygen. Okay, and that may lead to what, acidosis, and you will be having a, so pH saturation level is going to be decreases. Okay, so mainly in the heart conditions, and whereas in the respiratory disorders, and they are going to check the, so okay, artery blood analysis. Okay, that they are going to do in order to check out an acidosis and alkalosis of the substances. Okay, so due to that what is happening, pulmonary vasoconstrictions is going to be there, and right to left shunting over the foramen ovale, and worsening hypoxia and respiratory failure is going to be happen, and due to the vasoconstriction of the process. Okay, so that is the process that is taking place in the expiration and the inspiration process. Okay, so is it clear? See, during expiration, absence of surfactant and the surface tension will be increases, alveoli will is going to be collapse. And during inspiration, inadequate oxygen will be there, and more craving for the breathing oxygen is going to be takes place by the person, and hypoxemia and acidosis is going to be there, and pulmonary vasoconstriction and right to left shunting across foramen ovale, and worsening hypoxia and respiratory failure is going to be there. Okay, so that is regarding a pathophysiology of dyspnea. Okay, and next is a, okay, management. Okay, so what is the next one is a management. So in the management, what is the first management is medication you are going to give. So that is, now pulmonary vasoconstriction is there in the pathophysiology you have seen, right? So bronchodilators, so whenever your bronchodilators and steroids and the mucolytics. Okay, and low dose of anti-anxiety medications, and these will help spew and to expand the way for the blood vessel to expand the bronchus dilators and in order to have the easy passages. And next one is the oxygen therapy is also very very important to give the oxygen. And next, physical technique. So physical technique nothing else but and in the suffocation cardiopulmonary reconditioning through exercising and breathing techniques and enough control can reduce the dyspnea. So what they are doing that and by the physician and you are going to make the cardiopulmonary reconditioning like doing exercises. Okay, and next one is a psychosocial techniques. Okay, psychosocial technique means relaxation techniques, biofeedback, meditation. So these kind of techniques you are going to give to the patient. And next one, airway maintenance, nothing else but continuous oxygen you have to give to the patient, and mobilization of pulmonary secretions, nothing else but whatever the excretory aspiration alveoli collapse is there, that they are going to remove from the lungs. And humidification. So humidification means what? So for example, normally so whenever you are having a cold, so you are going to humidify, nothing else but removing out oxidation. Okay, removing out of the obstructions from the body and giving a nebulization and already you know and giving a chest therapy to remove the drainage. And next one is a postural drainage. See here, postural drainage means and they are going to give the position technique for the patient and they are going to do the cupping procedure, means nothing else but and at the back they will be tapping from down to upward. Okay, from lower back to the upper cervical region and they are going to make a percussions over the back and automatically the patient is going to be split out through the sputum. And a cuffing or suctioning, we remove suctioning from the trachea. Okay, so they will suction apparatus will be there with that and they will remove whatever the obstructions is there in the throat. Okay, so that's the thing. And next one continuation is a okay, so next continuation is a nursing care. Okay, so nursing care of dyspnea we are going to see here means okay, so diagnosis. Okay, so diagnosis nothing else but here only one diagnosis they have taken here, so that is an ineffective breathing pattern related to hypoxia as evidenced by shortness of breath with activity. Okay, rise of accessory muscles and oxygen saturation of 85%, abnormal arterial blood gas analysis. Okay, so already I have shown right, arterial blood gas analysis means ABGs. Okay, acidosis and alkalosis they are going to check. Okay, so in that condition what they are going to do here means subject data here means so subjective and objective data. So subjective data means what and whatever you are observed from the patient. Yes, so that what you have observed the normal levels, abnormal levels of the breathing you are find out in the process. In the objective data what you are going to identify is what the patient is saying, yes, and how the patient is taking a breathing and how he feels and in visualization and by seeing of a chest x-rays. Okay, and pulmonary checkups and what they have observed. And nursing outcomes what you are, and patient oxygen saturation you have to increases up to how much levels, 90 to 100. Okay, so 90 to 100 you have to increase the saturation levels of the patient. Okay, and patient respiration will be 12 to 120 breaths per minute you have to increase. And breathing techniques in management we have learned active and breathing exercises you have to give to the patient. Okay, and if the patient will be verbalized 2 ways on to prevent the COPD nothing else but so chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases. So in that only mostly you can see this dyspnea cases. Okay, and what is the nursing interventions you are going to place here means oxygen you have to give to the patient for half an hour. Okay, half an hour you have to give, and every 4 hourly you have to check the respiration rate, and that is normal 12 to 20 breaths per minute. And the nurse should be verbalized, and 4 breathing techniques you have to measure what are the breathing techniques are there, and that breathing techniques, that inhaling and exhaling procedure she has to teach to the patient. And 12 hours of hospitalization and with these dyspnea is very very important. So that is regarding of the dyspnea. Okay, and if these content is not clear, and I'll send you the pictures, or in textbook also you can able to directly see the topic. Okay, thank you.